Stop chasing the paper and start commanding the frequency. Money doesn't have ears, but it has a nervous system, and it is currently eavesdropping on your soul. If you are grinding with a spirit of scarcity, you are simply building a faster treadmill to nowhere. It's time to stop negotiating with your boss and start negotiating with your aura. Chapter 1. The Silent Negotiator. Your imagination is your preview of life's coming attractions. Albert Einstein. Take a breath. A deep, conscious breath. Right now, as you listen to my voice, I want you to strip away everything you think you know about how money works. Forget the spreadsheets. Forget the 80-hour work weeks. Forget the frantic hustle that has left your soul exhausted and your bank account shivering. You have been lied to. You've been told that wealth is a game of math, a cold, calculated pursuit of logic and labor. But if hard work was the only requirement for riches, the world would be populated by billionaire construction workers and millionaire single mothers. There is a missing link. There is a silent force moving beneath the surface of your life, and today we are going to drag it into the light. Before you ever open your mouth to pitch an idea, before you ever walk across the threshold of boardroom, and before you ever hit send on that life-changing email, something else has already arrived. Something has already spoken for you. It has shook hands with your prospect. It has negotiated the terms of your value, and it has decided whether you are master or beggar. I call this your silent negotiator. This is your aura. Now, don't mistake this as some soft, mystical concept. This is biological. This is neurological. This is the electromagnetic broadcast of your internal truth. Science tells us that the heart's electromagnetic field is 60 times greater than the brain's. It is a signal that extends feet beyond your physical skin. You are literally a walking radio station, broadcasting a frequency of either I am the prize or please choose me. And the world, my friend, is simply a mirror reflecting that signal back to you. Think of a person you know, someone who walks into a room and instantly, the atmosphere shifts. They haven't said a word. They aren't wearing a crown. Yet, everyone leans in. That is not luck. That is an aura trained in the frequency of certainty. Now, think of the person who enters the same room with the same credentials, but they feel invisible. They feel small. They are broadcasting a signal of, I hope I'm enough. And the universe, being a perfect conductor, echoes that lack right back to them. You see, you do not attract what you want. You attract what you are. If you are poor on the inside, if your bones are saturated with the fear of not having enough, your aura becomes a repellent to prosperity. You can say the right words, but if your vibration is whispering scarcity, the money will sense a lie and run. Imagine a seed buried deep in the dark, cold earth. That seed doesn't hustle to become an oak tree. It doesn't stress about the sunlight. It simply holds a blueprint of an oak within its DNA. It vibrates with the inevitability of its own expansion. It commands a nutrient from the soil because its internal signal says, I am growth. You are that seed. But for years, you have been trying to glue leaves onto your branches instead of nourishing your roots. You've been trying to fake it until you make it, but your nervous system cannot be fooled. You might paste a smile on your face, but if your cells are vibrating with the trauma of past failures, your aura is screaming danger to every opportunity that comes near you. Wealth is not a destination you reach. It is a frequency you inhabit. Let's look at the titans. Think of someone like Oprah Winfrey in her early days. She didn't have the math on her side. She didn't have the timing or the connections that society deemed necessary. But she had a signal. She possessed an internal alignment that said her voice was a gift to the world. Her aura was a sanctuary of empathy and power. Long before the billions arrived, she negotiated with the universe from a place of, I belong here. Now, contrast that with the everyday persona of the grinder, the person who stays late, sweats blood, and sacrifices their health, yet always seems to hit a glass ceiling. Why? Because their internal broadcast is set to struggle. They have turned hard work into their identity, so the universe dutifully provides them with more things to struggle against. They are fanning a flame with a wet blanket. You must understand that your aura is your biological signature. Every thought you think is a spark, and every emotion you feel is a fuel. When you live in a state of chronic anxiety about your bills, you are literally arming your energy. You become tight, restricted, and small. In that state, you cannot see the miracles sitting right in front of you. It's like trying to catch a radio station at 105.1 when you are tuned to 88.9. There is no music, only static. To attract wealth, you must first become an energetic match for it. You must train your nervous system to feel safe with abundance. For many of you, your body is actually addicted to the hit of cortisol that comes from being broke. You feel a strange sense of comfort in the fight or flight of survival. But today, we are breaking that addiction. We are recalibrating the signal. Consider the metaphor of the lighthouse. A lighthouse doesn't run all over the beach looking for boats to save. It doesn't scream, "Look at me." It simply is. It stands on the rock, anchored and tall, and it shines. It emits a signal so powerful and so consistent that the ships have no choice but to follow the light. Your only job is to be the lighthouse. When your aura is clear, when it is forged in the fire of self-worth and polished by the cloth of gratitude, you don't have to chase clients. You don't have to beg for a raise. You become a magnetic North Pole. People will look at you and say, "I don't know what it is about them, but I need to be in their world." They are responding to your silent negotiator. They are responding to the fact that you have already decided you are wealthy, long before the bank caught up to the truth. This is the rebirth of your identity. You have been walking around in a suit of armor made of other people's opinions. You've been carrying the poverty scripts of your parents and the limitation labels of your teachers. It has made your energy heavy and dull. But beneath that armor is a core of pure, radiant potential, a light that has never been dimmed, only covered. It is time to shed the skin of the struggler. It is time to realize that your value is not a variable. It is a constant. You are not a human being having a financial experience. You are a spiritual powerhouse managing a material world. When you realize this, your posture changes. Your eyes clear. Your voice drops an octave into the frequency of command. I want you to visualize a room filled with the most successful, visionary people on the planet. See yourself walking toward the door. Now, look at the energy you are carrying. Is it a flickering candle, easily blown out by a judgmental look? Or is it a sun, so bright that it demands a room adjust its temperature to match you? Most people walk into that room trying to fit in. They want to blend into the wallpaper. They want to be liked. But the wealthy, the truly energetically wealthy, walk in to give. Their aura is one of overflow. They aren't there to take a piece of the pie. They are the bakery. When you shift from getting to being, your signal becomes undeniable. This is a sacred work of the mindset philosopher. It is the understanding that your external world is a delayed broadcast of your internal state. If you don't like what's playing on the screen of your life, stop trying to fix the screen. Go back to the projector. Go back to the source. Go back to the moment you wake up and the first vibration you allow to enter your heart. Are you starting your day in defense, checking emails, reacting to news, fearing the clock? Or are you starting in offense, commanding your aura to expand, visualizing your victory, and feeling the overflow in your chest before you even have your coffee? You are currently training your aura, whether you know it or not. Every time you complain, you are training it for lack. Every time you envy someone else's success, you are telling your subconscious that there isn't enough for me, and your aura dutifully reflects that scarcity. But every time you celebrate a win, even a small one, every time you walk with your head high despite a zero balance, you are forging a new signal. You are telling the universe that you are a high-value asset. You are declaring that you are ready for the responsibility of riches. Because wealth is a responsibility. It is energy that needs a strong, stable container. If your aura is cracked by doubt, the wealth will leak out. We are here to seal those cracks. We are here to turn you into a vessel of gold. So, let me ask you, what is your aura saying behind your back? What is it whispering to the people you meet? Is it telling them that you are a safe bet or a risky investment? Is it radiating the heat of a furnace or the chill of a tomb? You have the power to change the broadcast right now. Not tomorrow. Not when the math makes sense. Now. You do it by making a defiant decision to inhabit the feeling of success before the evidence appears. You do it by walking as if you own the mountain, even when you are still in the valley. This is the secret of the silent negotiator. It is the art of winning the battle before it is ever fought. It is the realization that your presence is your greatest product. When you master your aura, you stop working for money and money starts working for you. It starts seeking you out. It starts chasing you because energy seeks alignment. A high-frequency life cannot exist in a low-frequency body. One of them has to change. And since you are the master of your own internal kingdom, you are the one who sets the dial. Take another breath. Feel the space around your body. That space is not empty. It is a field of infinite potential, waiting for you to give it a command. It is a silent partner in every deal you will ever make. From this moment forward, treat your aura with the same respect a soldier treats his weapon or musician treats his instrument. Protect it, polish it, power it up, because when you walk into the room of your future, your aura is the one that will sign the contract. Rise up and reclaim your frequency. The world is waiting to hear your signal. Chapter 2. The Law of Resonance. The soul attracts that which it secretly harbors, that which it loves, and also that which it fears. James Allen. Close your eyes for a moment, not to sleep, but to wake up. Deep within the architecture of your brain, a broadcast is happening. It is a persistent, rhythmic hum that never sleeps. While you are ordering your coffee, while you are sitting in traffic, and even while you are dreaming, you are pulsing. You are a biological tuning fork. But here is a terrifying truth most people will never admit. You are currently tuned to a frequency of lack. You walk through the world demanding that life give you gold, but your internal instrument is vibrating at the frequency of lead. This is a law of resonance, and it is the most ruthless, impartial judge in the universe. It doesn't care about your to-do list. It doesn't care about your desperate prayers or your frantic hustle. It only cares about the signal you are emitting from your bones, because in this universe, light does not just attract light, it demands it. If you are carrying internal poverty, you are walking around with a magnetic repellent in your pocket. You can say the right affirmations until your throat is raw, but if your nervous system is screaming, "I am not enough," the affirmations are just paint on a rusting ship. The rust is your doubt. It is that cold, heavy sensation in the pit of your stomach when you look at a luxury item and instinctively think, "That's for them, not for me." It is a silent flinch you make when you see someone else's massive success. You think you are observing their win, but your resonance is shouting that their win is your loss. This is a trap. This is a bone-deep infection of scarcity that tells you the pie is limited, the seats are taken, and you are forever standing on the outside of the glass, looking in. Stop for a second and listen to the background noise of your mind. What is the soundtrack of your subconscious? For most, it is a low-level static of not yet, maybe later, or what if I fail? This self-talk isn't just thoughts. They are energetic commands. Neurobiologically, every time you rehearse a thought of lack, you are firing and wiring a neural pathway that hardens into a physical reality. You are literally building a cage out of your own neurons. You become a prisoner who holds a key but is too addicted to the darkness of the cell to turn the lock. This is why the universe ignores your words. Words are cheap. Words are the surface of the ocean. Resonance is a tide. Resonance is a massive, invisible way to the water that moves everything in its path. If your tide is set to internal poverty, no ship of wealth will ever find your shore. It will simply be pushed away by the sheer force of your own frequency. Think of a young musician. Let's call him Elias. Elias has a technique. He knows every note, every scale, and every theory. He practices 10 hours a day. But when he steps onto the stage, the audience feels nothing. Why? Because Elias is playing to not fail. His resonance is one of fear, of please don't judge me, of am I doing this right? The audience doesn't hear the music. They hear his insecurity. They feel his static. Now, think of a master, someone like Miles Davis or Nina Simone. They might play a wrong note, but they play it with a resonance of absolute authority. They don't ask for permission to be heard. They command the air to carry their soul. The universe is that audience. It is not listening to your technique or your hustle. It is feeling your conviction. If you move through your day with the resonance of a beggar, life will always give you crumbs, even if you are wearing a three-piece suit. You must understand that doubt is not just a feeling. It is a wall of lead. It creates a biological mismatch between you and the wealth you claim to want. Imagine trying to charge a high-end smartphone with a rusted, broken cable from 30 years ago. The power is there. The outlet is overflowing with electricity. But the cable, the connection, is incapable of carrying the load. Your resonance is that cable. When you hold on to bone-deep doubt, you are telling your body that abundance is a threat. You are telling your nervous system that if you actually became wealthy, you wouldn't know how to handle it, or you would lose your friends, or you would be exposed as a fraud. So, your subconscious, in its misguided attempt to protect you, sabotages every opportunity. It forgets to make the call. It makes you sleep in. It makes you pick a fight with a mentor. It ensures you stay safe in your poverty because your resonance is more comfortable with the struggle than the shine. How do we break the wall? How do we forge a new resonance? You must start by becoming the silent observer of your own energy. You have to catch the scarcity flinch the moment it happens. When you see a beautiful home, don't let that wave of "I'll never have that" settle into your chest. That is a low-frequency virus. Interrupt it. Fire a new signal. Say to yourself, "That is a preview of what is coming for me." Not as a wish, but as a command. You must begin to rehearse the feeling of already done. This is where the magic of the human mind meets the precision of the universe. Your brain does not know the difference between an event that is actually happening and one that you are vividly, emotionally imagining. If you can sit in the silence of your room and feel the weight of success, not the greed of it, but the dignity of it, you are recalibrating your tuning fork. Look at the giants of history. Look at someone like Madam C.J. Walker. She didn't start with a bank account. She started with a resonance that refused to be small. She lived in a world that told her no in 1,000 different languages, but her internal signal was so loud, so clear, and so defined that the world had no choice but to rearrange itself to match her. She didn't want success. She resonated as a woman who had already conquered the mountain. She wasn't fighting the world. She was inviting the world to meet her at her level. That is the power of the law of resonance. It doesn't negotiate. It doesn't make exceptions. It simply matches a mirror to the man. Most of you are addicted to the storm. You have lived in the weather of not enough for so long that you don't know who you are without the rain. You identify as an underdog. You identify as the one who had it hard. And while that story might get you sympathy at a dinner party, it is a death sentence for your wealth. The universe cannot give you a sunny day if you are constantly summoning the clouds. You have to kill the version of yourself that loves the struggle. You have to drop the badge of honor you wear for being the hardest worker in the room if that work is coming from a place of desperation. Desperation is a repellent. It smells like fear. It tastes like lack. And wealth, true, expansive, flowing wealth, cannot breathe in that atmosphere. Imagine a garden. If you plant seeds of a magnificent oak tree, but you water the soil with salt, what happens? The seed is perfect. The potential is infinite. But the environment, the resonance of the soil, is toxic. Your mind is the soil. Your doubt is the salt. You have to stop poisoning your own potential. You have to clear the weeds of "who do I think I am" and replace them with the ironclad certainty of "I am the one." This isn't ego. This is alignment. Ego wants to prove it's better than others. Alignment knows it is one with the source of all supply. When you move from alignment, your resonance becomes a steady, pulsing light that cuts through the fog of the world. Let's talk about the internal poverty trap in your daily habits. When you pay your bills, do you do it with a heavy heart? Do you do it with a sense of "there it goes again, I'm losing more"? If so, you are resonating with loss. You are telling the universe that money is something that leaves you. You are training your field to expect subtraction. Instead, you must learn to pay with a resonance of circulation. As the money leaves your hand, feel the gratitude that you have the capacity to pay. Feel the energy of the money going out to support someone else's family, knowing that because you are a high-frequency transmitter, it must return to you 10 times stronger. This is how you change the tide. You don't wait for the money to change your mood. You use your mood to command the money. You are a divine architect. You are currently drawing the blueprint of your next 3 years with the ink of your resonance. If you are drawing with the shaky hand of "what if it doesn't work," your house will never stand. But if you draw with the bold, thick lines of "it is inevitable," the universe will provide the bricks, the mortar, and the labor. It has to. It is a mathematical certainty. The law of resonance is the gravity of the spiritual world. It pulls toward you exactly what you are weighted with. If you are weighted with a heavy, dark lead of doubt, you will sink into the depths of just enough. But if you lighten your soul with the fire of faith and the gold of self-worth, you will rise to the surface of overflow. I want you to audit your environment. Who are the people you spend time with? Are they resonance vampires? Do they pull you back down into the static of gossip, complaining, and small-mindedness? You cannot vibrate at the level of a millionaire while surrounded by the resonance of broke. Frequency is contagious. If you put two grandfather clocks in the same room, eventually their pendulums will swing in perfect unison. This is called entrainment. If you spend your time in training with people who are content with mediocrity, you will eventually find your own pulse slowing down to match theirs. You have to be ruthless with your field. Surround yourself with those who vibrate higher. Find the mentors, the books, and the rooms where the air is thick with it's possible. The journey from internal poverty to internal prosperity is a journey of rebirth. It requires you to let the old, fearful version of you die. It requires you to stand in the fire of your own transformation and not flinch. You have to become a resonance master. You have to take control of the dial of your own soul. When you feel the old static rising up, the old voice that says, "You're a fraud," or "You'll lose it all," you don't fight it. You don't give it energy. You simply change the station. You return to the breath. You return to the vision. You return to the resonance of the version of you that is already free. This is your call to action. The universe is not a vending machine where you put in hard work and get out money. The universe is a mirror. If you don't like what you are seeing in your bank account, look at the face you are showing to the mirror. Look at the energy you are bringing to the day. Are you showing up with the face of a victor or the face of a victim? Are you radiating the light of a sun or the shadow of a cloud? You are the one holding the remote. You are the one setting the frequency. Stop asking the world to change for you and start commanding your resonance to change the world. The age of begging is over. The age of hoping is dead. We are entering the age of being. You must be it before you see it. You must resonate as a king before the kingdom appears. You must vibrate as a master before the disciples arrive. The law of resonance is waiting for your signal. It is poised, ready to deliver the mountains or the molehills, whatever you are currently tuned to. Tune yourself to the infinite. Tune yourself to the overflow. Tune yourself to the fire that cannot be quenched. Step into the fire of your new resonance. The gold is waiting for you to match its glow. Chapter 3. The Addiction to Evidence. Faith is seeing the invisible, believing the incredible, and receiving the impossible. Clarence Smithson, listen to me closely. You have been trained to be a slave to your five senses. From the moment you were old enough to understand the world, society whispered a toxic lie into your ear. I'll believe it when I see it. You have been conditioned to look at your bank account to decide your worth. You look at your current circumstances to decide your potential. You look at the facts to decide your future. But I am here to tell you that the facts are nothing more than a graveyard of your past thoughts. If you are waiting for the money to show up before you feel wealthy, you are trapped in a loop of permanent lack. You are waiting for the mirror to smile first before you crack a grin. It will never happen. This is what I call the addiction to evidence, the desperate need for external proof before you grant yourself internal permission. Most people live their lives in a reactive state. They wake up, look at their bills, and feel stress. They see a no in their inbox and feel rejection. Their environment is controlling their internal state. But the wealthy, the titans, the visionaries, the world shakers operate in the reverse. They understand that the mind is a theater and the world is merely the screen. If you don't like what's playing on the screen, you don't run up and try to tear the fabric. You go back to the projection room. You change the film. You must learn to rehearse the feeling of your success until it becomes more real to your nervous system than the chair you are sitting on. You must become so emotionally invested in your future that your body begins to believe it is already living in that reality. This is not positive thinking. This is neurological engineering. Your brain is an incredible piece of biological machinery, but it has one major flaw that we are going to exploit for your greatness. It cannot tell the difference between a real-life event and an event you imagine with high emotional intensity. When you sit in the silence and vividly imagine the handshake of a closed deal, when you feel the relief, the pride, and the safety of overflow, your brain begins to fire the same signals as if the money were already in your hand. You are literally training your nervous system to feel safe with abundance. Most people's nervous systems are set to a thermostat of struggle. When they get a little bit ahead, they unconsciously sabotage because the safety of the struggle is what they know. To break the addiction, you must make abundance your new familiar territory. You must dwell in the mind's theater until the external evidence is no longer a requirement, but an inevitability. Think of an architect. Before a single brick is laid, before the earth is even moved, the building exists. It is complete. It is detailed. It is real. The architect has walked through the holes in their mind. They have felt the texture of the walls. They have seen the light hit the windows. They do not wait for the building to appear to believe it's a skyscraper. They know it's a skyscraper. So the building has no choice but to rise. You are the architect of your destiny, but you've been staring at an empty lot crying because there's no roof over your head. Stop looking at the dirt. Start seeing the steel. Start feeling the structure. The reason you haven't seen the breakthrough is that you are still more committed to your current evidence than you are to your internal vision. You are more addicted to being right about your problems and being rich in your possibilities. Consider the journey of someone like Jim Carrey. Long before the world knew his name, long before the multimillion-dollar paychecks, he wrote himself a check for $10 million for acting services rendered. He kept it in his wallet. He didn't look at it as a joke. He looked at it as a prophecy. He would drive up to the hills of Hollywood and visualize directors wanting to work with him. He felt the feeling of success while he was still living in a van. He wasn't waiting for a movie role to feel like a star. He felt like a star, and therefore the roles had to find him. His internal theater was so loud that the world couldn't help but hear the music. He broke the addiction to evidence. He lived in the future until the present had no choice but to catch up. You must realize that your addiction to evidence is actually a defense mechanism for your ego. Your ego wants to keep you safe by keeping you small. It tells you, don't get your hopes up, or let's be realistic. But realistic is just a common word for mediocre. Realistic is a path of least resistance that leads to a life of quiet desperation. To forge a new life, you must be willing to be unrealistic. You must be willing to walk through the world like a person who has a secret. You walk with a different stride. You speak with a different tone. You carry yourself with the aura of someone who has already won. This is a mental rehearsal that turns a seed into a forest. If the seed waited for the sun before it decided to grow, it would die in the dark. It grows through the dark because it follows a blueprint of light. What are you rehearsing? Every time you replay a past argument, you are rehearsing conflict. Every time you worry about next month's rent, you are rehearsing poverty. You are a world-class director, but you've been filming tragedies. It's time to change the genre. I want you to sit in the theater of your mind and play the success reel. See the numbers in the account. Don't just see them. Feel the weight of them. Feel the peace of mind that comes when the bills are non-issue. Feel the joy of being able to give to your family without hesitation. Make this image so vivid, so bright, and so loud that when you open your eyes, the world feels like the dream and the vision feels like the reality. This is how you rewire your brain. This is how you move from a state of wanting to a state of being. The universe does not respond to your wants. It responds to who you are being. If you are wanting wealth, you are broadcasting a signal of, I don't have it. The universe simply agrees with you and gives you more not having it. But when you rehearse success until it is your dominant emotional state, you are broadcasting a signal of, I am. You are standing in the frequency of the result. When you do this, synchronicity begins to move. People appear out of nowhere. Opportunities drop into your lap. Ideas flash into your mind like lightning. This isn't luck, it's alignment. You have stopped being a repellent and started being a magnet. But this magnetism only works when you stop checking the mailbox every 5 minutes to see if it's working. You must have the conviction of a person who has already ordered the meal. You don't go back to the kitchen to see if the chef is cooking. You sit at the table, you enjoy the conversation, and you wait for the delivery. This process requires a ruthless discipline of the mind. You will be tempted to return to your addiction. You will see a bill, or a setback, or a critic, and your ego will scream, see, nothing has changed. In that moment, you must have the courage to say, that is the old news. My new reality is being forged. You must be more loyal to your vision than to your current eyes. Think of a pilot flying through a storm. They cannot see the ground. They cannot see the horizon. If they rely on their evidence, they will crash. They must rely on their instruments. Your instruments are your vision, your faith, and your emotional state. Trust the instruments. The ground is still there. The runway is waiting. The storm is temporary, but the destination is fixed. You are being reborn into a new level of consciousness. You are shedding the skin of the doubter and stepping into the fire of the Creator. Every time you choose a vision over the evidence, you are strengthening your aura. You are making your signal clearer. You are becoming a person that wealth recognizes. Remember, money is just a shadow. It cannot move on its own. It must follow the object that casts it. You are the object. If you move into the light of abundance in your mind, your shadow, the wealth, has no choice but to follow. It is a law of the universe. It is as certain as gravity. So, I challenge you today. Put down your addiction. Stop looking for proof. Stop asking for signs. Become the sign. Become the proof. Enter the theater of your mind and stay there until you are soaked in the feeling of your own greatness. Walk out into the world today not as someone trying to get somewhere, but as someone who has already arrived. The world will try to tell you otherwise. The facts will scream, but you will smile because you know the secret. You know that the evidence is just a ghost of the past, and you are currently busy building the future. Rise up. The curtain is up. The theater is yours. Play the lead role with everything you have. Chapter 4. Erasing the Poverty Script. The only thing keeping you from getting what you want is the story you keep telling yourself about why you can't have it. Tony Robbins. Listen to the sound of my voice and look inward, not at your bank account, not at your current bills, but at the deep, hidden architecture of your own mind. You are carrying a ghost. You are operating on a software that was written for you before you were even old enough to hold a pen. We call this your poverty script. It is a collection of whispers, warnings, and invisible boundaries handed down to you like a heavy, rusted heirloom by parents who were afraid, teachers who were cautious, and a society that thrives on your smallness. You think you are making conscious choices about your money, but you are actually just playing a role in a tragedy you didn't write. Today, we are not just editing the script, we are burning the theater to the ground so you can build a kingdom. The most dangerous part of this script is that it feels like common sense. It sounds like your own voice telling you that money is a root of evil, or wealthy people are greedy, or the most paralyzing lie of all, people like us don't achieve things like that. These are what I call vibrational anchors. They sit at the bottom of your subconscious ocean, heavy and cold, holding your ship in the harbor while the winds of opportunity are screaming for you to sail. You can rev your engine, you can polish your deck, you can work 80 hours a week, but if those anchors are still hooked into the seabed of your identity, you will only go in circles. You will sabotage every win. You will lose the money as fast as you make it, because your internal script says that being wealthy makes you a bad person or an outsider. Think of a young woman. Let's call her Maya. Maya is brilliant. She is a powerhouse of ideas. But every time she gets close to a promotion or a massive contract, she develops a mysterious case of self-doubt. She forgets a deadline. She undercuts her price. Why? Because in her childhood home, money was the language of war. Her parents fought about every cent. For Maya, wealth is neurologically linked to conflict and pain. Her internal script says, safety equals scarcity. To her subconscious mind, staying broke is an act of survival. She is addicted to the struggle because the struggle is the only place she feels she belongs. You might not have Maya's exact story, but you have your own version of that anchor. You have been conditioned to believe that there is a noble quality to the grind, as if suffering is a currency you must pay to deserve a life of joy. I am here to tell you that the universe does not reward your suffering, it responds to your clarity. To erase this script, you must first become a clinical observer of your own thoughts. You need to look at your brain like a scientist looking at a petri dish. When you see a high-priced item or a person living in absolute overflow, what is the very first chemical reaction in your body? Do you feel a contraction? A tightening in the chest? A sneer of judgment? That contraction is your script speaking. It is your nervous system trying to protect you from a threat that isn't there. You are flinching at the sunlight because you have lived in the cave for too long. But you were not born in that cave. You were placed there. Every no you were told as a child, every time you heard we can't afford that, became a brick in the wall of your identity. You began to see yourself as a budget person, a second-class passenger on the ship of life. This is a biological addiction. Your brain had become accustomed to the chemical cocktail of stress, worry, and lack. You get a hit of cortisol every time you check your balance and see it's low. It's familiar. It's home. To shed this version of yourself, you must be willing to endure the discomfort of being reborn. You must be willing to feel wrong for a while. When you start to speak the language of abundance, your old self will scream fraud. It will tell you that you are being arrogant or delusional. Let it scream. That voice is just the sound of the old script burning. You are the author now. You are holding the pen, and you are standing before a blank page that is white-hot with potential. Consider the journey of someone like Les Brown, born in an abandoned building, labeled educably mentally retarded in school. His script was written in the darkest ink imaginable. The world told him he was a failure before he even started. But he met a teacher who gave him a new line for his play. He said, "Someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality." That single sentence was a fire that began to melt his anchors. He had to ruthlessly erase the old story of the retarded boy and replace it with a story of a world-class orator. He didn't just think differently. He became a different biological entity. He changed his walk. He changed his talk. He rehearsed his new script in the mirror until the old Maya of his mind had no room to breathe. What is the story you tell yourself about why you aren't wealthy yet? Is it the economy? Is it your upbringing? Is it your lack of a degree? Stop. Those are just characters in your old play. They only have the power you give them. You must perform an identity autopsy. Lay out your beliefs on the table and ask, is this mine, or did I inherit this from someone who was afraid? If it is a belief of fear, it is a virus. Delete it. You must decide, with a conviction of a thunderclap, that the struggle is no longer your brand. You are not the underdog anymore. You are the victor who has decided to arrive. Metaphorically, you are a seed that has been kept in a small plastic pot. You've grown as much as you can, but your roots are hitting the walls. You think the walls are the limit of the world, but they are just the limit of the pot. It is time to crack the plastic. It is time to stretch your roots into the deep, dark, rich soil of the infinite. This requires a shedding of the old skin. You cannot grow into the person who manages millions while you are still trying to save pennies out of fear. You cannot vibrate at the level of a leader while you are still thinking like a servant. The old you must die so the new you can breathe. This is a forge. You are the metal, and the heat of your intention is softening you so you can be hammered into a new shape. Every time you catch an old, broke thought and replace it with a thought of expansion, you are striking the hammer. I am not enough. Strike. Wealth is difficult. Strike. I don't deserve this. Strike. Eventually, the metal hardens into a new form. You become a person who is neurologically incapable of thinking small. You become a person whose aura is so thick with certainty that the poverty script cannot even find a place to land. It simply bounces off your field like rain off a glass roof. The universe is waiting for you to change your name. It is waiting for you to stop introducing yourself as a person who is trying and start introduce yourself as the person who has decided. There is no middle ground. You are either writing a story of lack or you are writing a story of legacy. The ink is your emotion. The paper is your daily action. If you want to change your life, you must change your self-image. You must look in the mirror and see not who you were yesterday, but who you are destined to be 10 years from now. You must invite that future version of you to inhabit your body today. Walk out into the world today and look for the evidence of abundance, not the evidence of lack. See the trees. They don't count their leaves. See the ocean. It doesn't apologize for its tide. You are a part of that same nature. You were built for expansion. You were forged for greatness. The old script is a lie. The anchors are cut. The fire of your potential is roaring. It is time to write the final chapter of your struggle and the first chapter of your reign. Pick up the pen. The page is yours. Write your glory into existence. Chapter 5. Emotional Hygiene and the Baseline Shift. What lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Stop for a moment and feel, not the world outside you, not the noise of your commute, but the internal weather of your own body. What is the temperature? Is it a cold, shivering wind of anxiety? Or is it a steady, radiant heat of certainty? Most people spend their lives chasing peak states, those rare, fleeting moments of high-octane motivation they find in a seminar or a loud song. But the universe doesn't respond to your peaks. It responds to your baseline. It responds to the emotional default you return to when no one is watching and the music stops. If your peak is abundance, but your baseline is, I don't have enough, you are a house divided. And a house divided cannot stand. It cannot hold wealth, and it certainly cannot attract it. You must understand the neurology of your identity. Your body is a biological record of the past. It has been conditioned, through years of repetition, to return to a specific emotional set point. For some of you, that set point is the underdog. You are actually addicted to the chemistry of struggle. You feel most like yourself when you are fighting an uphill battle, when you are stressed about a deadline, or when you are complaining about a lack of support. This is an identity addiction. Your cells crave the cortisol of the hunt and the adrenaline of the crisis. Even when wealth knocks on your door, you subconsciously slam it shut because your body wouldn't know how to act in a state of peace. You would feel like a stranger in your own skin. To create lasting wealth, we must perform a surgical strike on this default setting. We must practice emotional hygiene. Think of your emotional state like the water in a well. You can pour a bucket of clean water, a positive thought, into the top, but if the bottom of the well is filled with mud, the water will always turn murky. That mud is your emotional default. It is the residue of old heartbreaks, failed ventures, and the poverty scripts we discussed earlier. Emotional hygiene is the daily, ruthless practice of clearing the mud. It is a realization that a negative emotion is not a fact. It is a signal that your hygiene is slipping. You wouldn't go a week without washing your body, yet you allow your mind to go months caked in the grime of resentment, jealousy, and self-pity. You are walking around with a dirty aura, wondering why the clean, crisp energy of prosperity is avoiding you. Let's look at a relatable persona. Let's call him David. David is a talented designer. Once a month, he gets fired up. He watches a motivational video, feels like a king for 3 hours, and sends out 10 proposals. That is his peak. But the other 29 days of the month, David's baseline is a low-level frequency of, I hope I'm good enough, and clients are hard to find. He is transmitting a signal of desperation disguised as patience. The universe doesn't see David's 3-hour peak. It sees his 29-day baseline. It sees the mud at the bottom of his well. Because David is addicted to the underdog story, he attracts clients who lowball him in projects that drain him. He is getting exactly what he is vibrating at, not what he wants, but what he is. To shift your baseline, you must implement the emotional audit. This is not a gentle exercise. It is a confrontation. Multiple times a day, you must stop and ask, what is my current emotional signature? If you find yourself in a state of contraction, tightness in the jaw, shallow breathing, a sense of rushing, you are in a poverty frequency. You must interrupt it immediately. You don't fight the emotion. You simply replace the chemistry. You change your posture. You change your breathing. You find one thing, just one, that represents overflow in your life, and you focus on it until your chemistry shifts. This is how you scrub your aura. This is how you raise the floor of your potential so that your bad days are still higher than your old good days. Think of the great masters of performance. Think of someone like Nelson Mandela. He spent 27 years in a prison cell, the ultimate environment of lack. If he had allowed his baseline to match his surroundings, he would have emerged a broken, bitter man. But Mandela practiced a legendary level of emotional hygiene. He refused to let the mud of hatred settle in his well. He maintained a baseline of dignity, forgiveness, and leadership while wearing a prisoner's uniform. His internal weather was so powerful that it eventually forced the external world to change. He didn't wait to be free to feel like a leader. He felt like a leader until the prison bars had no choice but to melt away. You are in a prison of your own making every time you allow your baseline to be dictated by your bank balance. You are a gardener of your own energy. A gardener does not just plant seeds and walk away. They are constantly pulling weeds. They are checking the soil. They are guarding the gate. Your underdog story is the most stubborn weed in your garden. It's the voice that says, I started with nothing, so it's okay if I don't have much. It's the pride you take in making it through the storm. Stop celebrating the storm. Start celebrating the sun. You must kill the part of you that needs to be pitied. You must kill the part of you that uses struggle as a badge of honor to feel significant. Significant people don't need to struggle to be seen. They shine so brightly that they cannot be ignored. Neurologically, when you shift your baseline, you are retraining your reticular activating system, RAS, the filter in your brain that decides what information is important. When your baseline is struggle, your RAS looks for more things to struggle with. It finds the traffic jams, the rude comments, and the missed opportunities. But when you scrub your hygiene and set your baseline to certainty and overflow, your RAS begins to filter for gold. It notices a casual remark that leads to a partnership. It sees a solution to the problem that had you stuck for months. You are literally tuning your brain to a different dimension of reality. The wealth was always there. You were just vibrating at a frequency that made it invisible. This is the rebirth of your emotional identity. It requires you to be a high-maintenance soul. You must become protective of your peace. You must stop entertaining low-frequency conversations. You must stop checking in on your old failures. Imagine you are forging a sword. Every time you allow a low baseline emotion to linger, you are cooling the metal too quickly, making it brittle and weak. But every time you catch yourself and return to a state of gratitude and power, you are keeping the metal in the fire. You are making yourself unbreakable. Consider the metaphor of a ship. The peaks are the wind in the sails, but the baseline is the depth of the keel. If your keel is shallow, a small wave of bad news will capsize you. But if you have spent time deepening your baseline, training your nervous system to be calm in the face of chaos and certain in the face of delay, you become an ocean liner. The waves still come, but they don't move you. You stay on course because your internal weight is greater than the external pressure. Wealth flows to the stable. It flows to the calm. It flows to the person who has done the invisible work of cleaning their well. The shift is not a one-time event. It is a rhythmic devotion. It is the choice to wake up and declare, my internal state is non-negotiable. When the world gives you a reason to be small, you give yourself a reason to be vast. When the news tells you the economy is shrinking, you tell yourselves that your capacity is expanding. This is not delusion. This is leadership. It is the understanding that you are the cause and the world is the effect. If you want the effect to change, you must change the frequency of the cause. I challenge you today to walk through the world with a wealth baseline. Do not wait for the money to walk with your head high. Do not wait for the promotion to speak with authority. Scrub the mud. Pull the weeds. Set your internal thermostat to overflow and refuse to let anyone or anything turn it down. You are not a victim of your emotions. You are the architect of your chemistry. You are the master of your well. Clear the water, stoke the fire, and watch how fast the world moves to match the new, higher version of you. The floor has been raised. Now, let us see how high you can soar. Chapter 6. The Architect's Rituals. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Aristotle. The world is not built by accident. It is built by design. Every skyscraper that pierces the clouds, every empire that dominates a landscape, and every soul that radiates unshakable wealth began as a series of repeated, intentional strikes upon the forge of reality. You have learned about the signal. You have understood the resonance. But now, we must move from theory to mastery. We are moving from the what to the how. To train your aura is to train your life. You cannot expect a high-performance output from a neglected engine. You are the architect, and your aura is your blueprint. If the blueprint is blurry, the building will be crooked. Today, we install the rituals that will sharpen your lines, strengthen your foundation, and make your present an irresistible force of nature. These are not tasks to be checked off a list. These are sacred appointments with your future self. Most people wake up and immediately surrender their power to the world. They check their phones, and they are instantly colonized by other people's opinions. They check the news, and they are injected with a virus of fear. They rush to work, and they are operating in a state of survival, not creation. But you are going to reclaim the dawn. You are going to build a sanctuary within your own nervous system. We will use 3 core rituals to polish your aura until it glows with the heat of 1,000 suns: emotional calibration, alignment affirmations, and quantum preplay. This is a manual for the energetic elite. The first ritual is emotional calibration. Think of this as a tuning of your instrument. If a world-class violinist walked onto the stage and began to play without checking their strings, the music would be a disaster. Yet, you walk into the high-stakes stage of your life with your emotions out of tune, wondering why the world isn't applauding. Calibration happens in the first 10 minutes of your day. It is the act of consciously choosing your default before the world chooses it for you. You sit in the stillness. You breathe deep into the belly, expanding the chest, and you ask, what is the frequency I command today? You do not ask for permission to feel good. You generate the feeling. You reach into your heart and find the spark of gratitude, of certainty, of power, and you fan it until it becomes a roaring fire in your veins. You are telling yourselves that the hunt has already been successful. You are calibrating your baseline to victory. When you calibrate, you are performing a neurological override. You are shifting from the sympathetic nervous system, the fight-or-flight mode that smells like poverty, to the parasympathetic state of rest and create. Wealth cannot find you if you are constantly running away from a phantom lion. By spending these few minutes in stillness, commanding your heart rate to slow and your vision to expand, you are cleaning the lens of your aura. You are removing the dust of yesterday's stress. You walk out of your door not as a person reacting to the world, but as a person who is the cause of their world. Your environment will try to pull you back down. The traffic will be slow. The coffee will be cold. But because you are calibrated, you remain a steady, pulsing light. You are the thermostat, not the thermometer. The second ritual is alignment affirmations. Now, let us be very clear. I am not talking about the hollow, sugary positive thinking that people whisper to themselves while they are secretly terrified. Those are lies, and your subconscious knows it. True affirmations are not wishes. They are decrees. They are the sound of a hammer hitting the anvil. When you speak, you must speak with the weight of a king or queen signing a law. You do not say, I want to be rich. Wanting is a frequency of lack. It signals that you are separate from your goal. Instead, you say, I am the source of my abundance. My presence is a magnet for opportunity. I am safe with overflow. You speak these words into the mirror, looking yourself directly in the eyes. You are not trying to convince the world. You are convincing your own subconscious. You are rewriting the software of your identity. Metaphorically, your words are seeds. But most people are throwing seeds on concrete and wondering why nothing grows. To make an affirmation work, you must plow the soil with emotion. When you say, I am wealth in motion, you must feel the heat of that wealth in your palms. You must feel the expansion in your chest. If the word and the feeling don't match, the signal is canceled out. But when you align your speech with your chemistry, you create a quantum signature. You are telling the universe that the deal is done. You are training your aura to carry the tone of inevitability. Think of someone like the legendary boxer Muhammad Ali. He didn't just say, I am the greatest after he won the belt. He said it while he was a hungry kid in a gym. He spoke the future into the present until the world had no choice but to agree. Your words are the bricks of your empire. Choose them with the precision of a master builder. The third ritual is the most powerful tool in the performance psychologist's arsenal, quantum preplay. This is not daydreaming. This is energetic rehearsal. Most people spend their lives pre-playing their failures. They imagine the meeting going poorly. They imagine the bank account hitting zero. They are vividly rehearsing their own destruction. You are going to flip the script. Before any high-stakes moment, or simply as part of your morning routine, you will sit with your eyes closed and enter the mind's theater. But you won't watch yourself on a screen. You will step into the vision. You will feel the texture of the success. You will hear the sound of the yes. You will feel the relief in your muscles as a breakthrough occurs. This is where Dr. Joe Dispenza's insight becomes your edge. Your brain does not know the difference between the vision and the reality. When you pre-play your win with high emotional intensity, you are laying down new neural tracks. You are making success familiar to your body. So, when you actually walk into that meeting or launch that product, your aura is not vibrating with what if, it is vibrating with of course. You have already been there. You have already won. The fear of the unknown is gone because you have made the future your current home. You are no longer trying to succeed. You are simply allowing the physical world to catch up to the energetic reality you have already constructed. You are a ghost from the future, walking through the present with the calm of a winner. Imagine a world-class athlete, someone like a professional golfer or a championship diver. They do not just step up and hope for the best. They close their eyes. They see the arc. They feel the impact. They hear the splash. By the time they move their physical body, the aura has already completed the act. They are simply following the blueprint they just laid down in the quantum field. This is how you must approach your wealth. You must spend the money in your mind before it hits the account. You must help the people with your influence before the influence is public. This is the ultimate hack for your nervous system. You are removing the static of doubt and replacing it with a laser beam of intent. These three rituals, calibration, affirmation, and pre-play, are the tools that forge a magnetic aura. They take the scattered light of your average thoughts and focus them into a laser that can cut through steel. If you do this for 21 days, you will not recognize yourself. People will look at you and see a different glint in your eyes. They will feel a different weight to your walk. They won't be able to explain it, but they will want to be around you. They will want to give to you. They will want to follow you. You have become a silent negotiator of the highest order. You have stopped asking the world for crumbs and started commanding the world to deliver the feast. The fire is ready. The anvil is waiting. The blueprint is in your hands. Do not let another sunrise find you reacting to the shadows of your past. Rise up. Perform your rituals. Claim your identity as the architect of your destiny. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are a master of frequency. You are the one who decides. You are the one who builds. The universe is waiting for your signal. Make it loud. Make it clear. Make it undeniable. The blueprint is set. Now, pick up a hammer and build your glory. Neurologically, your environment is constantly priming your subconscious. Every time you see a symbol of wealth, a book by a mentor, a visual of your dream destination, a clean and organized desk, your brain releases a chemical signal of safety and reward. You are training your nervous system to believe that abundance is your natural habitat. But when you live in a sanctuary of fear, your body stays in survival mode. In survival mode, you cannot see the long-term play. You cannot make the bold move. You cannot innovate. You are too busy trying not to drown. To attract lasting wealth, you must give your nervous system permission to relax into its own power. You must build a fortress of focus where no low-frequency signal can penetrate. Think of the greats who understood this. Think of someone like Maya Angelou, who would rent a plain hotel room to write, stripping away all distractions to ensure her environment was a perfect vessel for her voice. She understood that her field had to be protected for the signal to come through clearly. Or look at the great industrial titans who built offices that felt like cathedrals of progress. They weren't just showing off. They were creating an environment that amplified their sense of authority. They knew that before they could command the market, they had to command the space they stood in. I want you to perform an environment audit today. Look at your phone. Who are the first 5 people you see? Are they builders or breakers? Look at your nightstand. What are the first words you read before you sleep? Are they words of wisdom or words of worry? Look at your office. Does it feel like the cockpit of a jet or the cabin of a sinking ship? You are the author of this space. You have the power to delete, to distance, and to decorate. If a relationship is costing you your peace, it is too expensive. If an environment is dimming your light, it is a prison. You must have the courage to walk away from the tables where smallness is served, even if you've been sitting there for years. This is not about being elitist. It is about being intentional. It is about realizing that your aura is your most valuable asset, and it requires a specific soil to grow. When you change your company, you change your conversation. When you change your conversation, you change your thoughts. When you change your thoughts, you change your frequency. And when your frequency shifts, the entire world rearranges itself to meet you. You will find that you no longer have to try to be confident. The environment is doing the work for you. You are being carried by the momentum of the excellence you have surrounded yourself with. Metaphorically, you are forging a masterpiece. You are the blacksmith, but the world around you is the air in the room. If the air is freezing, the metal will crack. If the air is steady and warm, the metal will bend to your will. Seek the warmth. Seek the light. Find the tribe that makes your heart race with possibility. Turn your home into a temple of your future self. Make your environment so powerful that a person walking into your house can feel your success before they ever meet you. This is field protection. This is the secret of the masters. Walk out today and begin to curate your world. Reclaim your field. Clear the static. Turn up the volume on your future. You are not a product of your circumstances. You are a product of your choices. Choose to be amplified. Choose to be surrounded by giants. Choose to stand in a place where the only way to go is up. The sanctuary is ready. Step inside and let your light rule. Chapter 8. The 4 Pillars of the Magnetic Life. If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Nikola Tesla. We have arrived at the summit. You have traveled through the canyons of your past scripts. You have climbed the ridges of your emotional defaults. And now you stand at the peak of your own potential. But a peak is only as stable as the bedrock beneath it. To live a life that doesn't just get wealth, but is wealth, you must anchor your aura into 4 unbreakable pillars. These are the structural supports of what I call aura intelligence. Without them, your energy is a flickering candle in a hurricane. With them, you become a sun, a gravitational center so powerful that opportunities, capital, and influence have no choice but to orbit you. You are no longer trying to sell the world on your value. You are simply existing in a state of such high-level alignment that the world begs to be part of your vision. The first pillar is certainty. This is the iron in your blood. In a world drowning in maybe and, I hope, certainty is the ultimate currency. People are neurologically starving for a leader who knows exactly who they are and where they are going. Certainty is not about having all the answers. It is about having an unshakable relationship with your own intent. When you walk into a room, do you wait for the room to tell you how to feel? Or do you dictate the frequency of the room? Think of a master surgeon. They don't approach the table with a perhaps. They move with a quiet, lethal precision. That is the energy you must bring to your wealth. You must decide, with the finality of a gavel hitting a bench, that your success is not a possibility, but a historical fact that hasn't happened yet. This level of certainty creates a vacuum in the marketplace that only you can fill. It is a fire that burns away the static of doubt in others, making them trust you before you even show them a spreadsheet. The second pillar is calm. This is the eye of the storm. Most people believe that to be powerful, you must be loud, frantic, and aggressive. They equate hustle with high vibration. They are wrong. High vibration is often found in the deepest stillness. When you are desperate, you are loud. When you are fearful, you are horrid. But when you are truly wealthy on the inside, you are calm. You move with the grace of a predator that knows the meal is already caught. This economic stillness is a superpower. It signals to the world that you are not threatened by delays, you are not rattled by no, and you are not addicted to the outcome. Your calm is your shield. It prevents the world from hooking your energy and dragging you into the mud of anxiety. When you stay calm while everyone else is panicking, you become the lighthouse. And the ships of wealth always sail toward the light that doesn't flicker. The third pillar is congruence. This is a bridge between your soul and your skin. Congruence means that what you think, what you say, and what you do are all singing the same note. Most people are a walking contradiction. They think about wealth, but they speak about high prices. They visualize success, but they act with hesitation. This internal friction creates a weak signal. It's like a radio station that keeps drifting off the frequency. Nobody can hear the music because there's too much noise. But when you are congruent, your aura becomes a laser. A laser is simply light that has been organized to move in a single direction. That organization gives it the power to cut through diamonds. When your actions match your vision, when you treat yourself like $1 million asset even when you are alone, your aura becomes undeniable. You don't have to fake it because there is no gap between your private truth and your public presence. You are one solid piece of destiny. The fourth pillar is contribution. This is the breath of the magnetic life. If you only focus on getting, you are operating in a state of contraction. You are telling the universe that you are a sink, a place where energy goes to die. But wealth is like water. It must flow to stay fresh. To be truly magnetic, you must become a source. You must ask, how can my presence solve a problem? How can my wealth expand the lives of others? Contribution is an out-breath that allows the in-breath of abundance to happen. When your aura is set to the frequency of service, you bypass the ego's fear of not being enough. You are no longer worried about your own survival. You are focused on the world's expansion. Think of the great philanthropists, people who gave before they were ready. They understood that the faster you give, the more room you create to receive. Your value is not determined by what you take from the world, but by what you leave in your wake. Dr. Viktor Frankl, even in the unimaginable darkness of a concentration camp, he maintained these 4 pillars. He had the certainty that his life had meaning. He held a calm that allowed him to observe his own suffering without being consumed by it. He stayed congruent to his identity as a healer, and he focused on contribution by helping his fellow prisoners find a reason to live. His aura was so powerful that even the gods felt his invisible leverage. He was a king in a cage. If he could maintain a magnetic life in those conditions, what is your excuse? Your camp might be a dead-end job or a mountain of debt, but the pillars remain the same. You don't build them once you are free. You build them to become free. Metaphorically, you are forging a masterpiece. Certainty is the metal. Calm is the cooling water. Congruence is the strike of the hammer. And contribution is the purpose for which the tool is made. You are training your aura intelligence every single day. When you choose to speak your truth instead of a polite lie, you are strengthening congruence. When you choose to breathe through a crisis instead of reacting, you are building calm. When you decide that failure is not an option, you are forging certainty. And when you look for a way to help, even when you feel empty, you are expanding your capacity for contribution. These are the muscles of the wealthy mind. You must realize that people don't invest in products. They invest in certainty. They don't buy logic. They buy energy. Your pitch is just a shadow. Your presence is a sun. If you walk into a negotiation with these 4 pillars standing tall, the terms have already been decided before you even open your mouth. Your aura has already negotiated the deal. People will feel a pull toward you that they cannot explain. They will trust your vision because you trust yourself. They will feel safe in your calm. They will be inspired by your congruence, and they will want to reward your contribution. This is how you win without fighting. This is how you attract without chasing. I want you to audit your pillars right now. Which one is leaning? Are you certain but chaotic? Then you need more calm. Are you calm but inconsistent? Then you need more congruence. Are you working hard but only for yourself? Then you need more contribution. A magnetic life is a balanced life. You are the architect. You have the tools. You have the blueprint. It is time to stop playing small in the basement of your potential and start building the cathedral of your future. The world is not looking for more hustlers. It is looking for more masters of frequency. It is looking for people who can walk into a room and raise the vibration of everyone in it. You are that person. You have been through the fire, and you have been reborn. You are no longer a slave to your senses. You are commander of your energy. You are a vessel of light, a magnet for miracles, and a source of power. Go forth today and stand tall in your pillars. Speak with certainty. Move with calm, lie with congruence, and give with contribution. The universe is watching. The markets are listening. The wealth you seek is already on its way to you, not because you worked for it, but because you became the person who is worthy of it. The pillars are set. The temple is yours. Rise up and rule. Wealth is not the trophy at the end of the race. It is a shadow cast by the person you have become. You have spent your life trying to convince the world of your value, but the world was only ever waiting for you to convince yourself. When you align your signal, you stop being a beggar in the kingdom of commerce and start being the king of your own energetic domain. The bank account is a trailing indicator. Your aura is a lead. As you walk out of these pages, do not look for change in your wallet. Look for the shift in how the air moves when you enter a room. Carry yourself with the quiet, dangerous confidence of a person who has already won. The universe isn't just watching, it is waiting for your command. Set the signal, train the aura, and let the world chase you.